Hi everyone, how are you doing today? It's good to have you here. Thank you for joining Free Power. And looks like Aptera is on the move. They're steadily moving towards production, and we are anticipating the PI2 to come out. So exciting times coming up. So let's get into this baby right now. All right, welcome back to my channel. I got a lot of things to talk about. Looks like Aptera is moving ahead, and this time we're gonna get information on how in the world Aptera can come out with 6,000 vehicles per year and still break even. That's just a head scratcher. We know that most auto companies, they have to produce hundreds of thousands of vehicles in order to be productive. And Aptera is only going to do 6,000. And so we're going to talk about that. Let's check this video out.
Yeah, people are very happy about your projection, the 6,000 per year break even thing.
Yep.
Can you speak to that?
Yeah, the 6,000 break even is part of the financial model. I don't really think it's gonna, that's not gonna be the target that we're going for. The pre-orders obviously dictate that we're gonna be selling a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
We were asked to build, a base case, where would we get to that point? A lot of factors go into it. It's going to be a ton of work to get to that point, but I don't think we're really going to be working towards that model. Personally, I think we're going to be more towards the higher volumes, 20,000 plus. But it's nice to have that out there to show, the investors that ask that question. I know everybody's curious about getting to profitability. We're laser focused on getting to profitability, but we're also laser focused on getting 1 million Aptera on the road, and 6,000 a year is not.
It's not
really the rate. And I don't really think about that. I know it's very exciting for people to understand, but I don't think about the 6,000 a year rate too much. I more look at the high volume model that we built.
Right. What are you looking forward to? Like, let's say U.S. capital raise goes great. I mean, we're gonna be scaling up, right? Like it's gonna get nuts.
Massive domino effect. If the U.S. capital goes the way that we expect it to go, and it finishes up, there's a lot of supplier agreements and negotiations that'll get locked in, so we'll sign those up. It'll flatten out what's going on in the model. A lot of things change here and there, a lot of things kind of bounce back and forth, so we'll kind of be able to commit to some things, get it locked down. And what else? Yeah, a little bit of hiring, but like I said, I feel like we've really built an environment here where we can kind of scale up without having to hire too much in my department or too much in the related departments. Really, manufacturing people that we'll be hiring up on.
Yeah.
And working with partners there.
So that's very impressive. They're going to do a model that Blake came up with, financial model, and no doubt he had to come up with that for U.S. capital and probably other sovereign investors. But the model that he came up with shows that they're only going to do 6,000 vehicles per year, and that is just to break even. That's kind of hard to phantom. But I think Steve can give us more insight into that as to how is that possible. Steve Fambro actually did a podcast with Fully Charged, and I got the link down below if you want to watch the entire thing. It's actually a very good, interview that was done with Steve, and I highly recommend that you do check it out. It's 45 minutes long, and I'm just going to take the part out where he's talking about scalability and how it's so how well, I'll let him explain it to you and then we'll talk about it.
A lot of conventional automotive assembly plants, they're only profitable if they're running above 90 or 95% capacity. It doesn't make sense, any financial sense, for them to operate at 80 or half capacity, because there's so much inertia of things that have to happen to even make one vehicle flow down the assembly line. And in order to cover that cost, it really needs to be operating and to recover the amortization of the tooling cost in a couple of years, et cetera. And so it's by design that those plants have to operate at that level just to be efficient. And it's by consequence of us that we don't have to operate at that speed. And it's just by consequence of, I would say, primarily centered around the composite body design having only 10 pieces. That it just changes the largest single tooling costs of the vehicle, which is traditionally is the body and the structure, and it reduces that by an order of magnitude. And so then that gives us the flexibility that a lot of other manufacturers don't have. And on the other items, because we're vertically integrated, we own the battery design, we own our suspension design, where it's these things are made for us, to our spec, or they're made in house. The same with the solar. We decide how we want to ramp and scale that up. We don't have to have 20 or 100,000 unit a year agreement that we must, commit to in order to just have the item. So we have that luxury that a lot of other larger manufacturers don't, just because of how our vehicle's architected.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I guess it sort of emphasized the point that there is a reason it's so difficult for large OEMs to transition to electric vehicles, to change over their plants, because they're having to do huge investments in tooling. They need those guarantees of sales such that they can get, the payback on all of that tooling. But also, it shows why it is generally more appealing for those organizations to create large SUVs, because they have higher profit margins. They can recoup that value much quicker than smaller, cheaper things. And that's why it's so critically important that we need organizations like yourself to really drive forward the desire and the need for low cost, efficient electric vehicles.
So there you go. There he's bringing out several things why they only need 6,000 vehicles to break even. One is the number of parts that they need to put the vehicle together, because it's CFFMC, and that is there's only 10 parts to put the vehicle together instead of 200 parts, whereas they only need to weld it together or bond it. Most auto companies, or just about all of them, they have to weld. They have to buy the welding machines. They have to buy all the different parts, and then they have to weld the vehicle together. And so they're spending a lot of money on that, as well as they have to pay for those machines, those welding machines that they get, as well as the paint shop and all the paint and having to clean up the toxic material. So that has to factor into the cost of the vehicle. He also brought out that a lot of the things that they're doing is in-house. They make them in the building themselves. So that cost is not sent out to other companies. That saves them a lot of money while they're putting all that together, like the battery and the solar panels. And that is pretty amazing that they can do that. Blake also brought out some interesting things, that they are keeping everything pretty simple. He said that they really don't need that many people to run it, because everybody in the company is working very hard. They're working together as a team. And so that helps in a large way too. That keeps costs down, because the less people that you're paying money out to work in your company, the more money you save. So it looks like they have this efficiency ethos down pat, and they are really doing some very good things. You tell me, how do you feel about what they're doing? That is just so impressive that they only have to make 6,000 vehicles to break even. And no doubt that, according to Blake, what he said, that they're actually going to shoot far beyond that. They want to go ahead and start mass producing them. And 2025 is going to be a fantastic year for Aptera, because I know that once they get the big hit that they're waiting for from US Capital, that they're going to upscale very quickly. And no doubt everybody's going to get their Aptera in hand very soon, which is what we're all looking forward to. But of course, right now we have the PI2 that we want to come out, and then we'll get to see that on the road, which will get a lot of people excited. And a lot of people are waiting for this vehicle to come out. And since they're keeping costs down, they can scale up pretty quickly and start being cash positive in no time. So I'm looking for a lot of good things coming from Aptera. We got some good information that's going to be coming out from Aptera very soon. And I'm just waiting for the crash testing, because I know once the crash testing is done, then that's pretty much everything. They can go ahead and start mass producing and get you your Aptera. But once again, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about the direction Aptera is going and what they're doing? I think personally that they're doing a fantastic job, and I know they are going to come out with this vehicle very soon. So I'm very happy with what they're doing. I'm very so glad that they're being transparent and keeping us in the loop. And, this is just fantastic news. But anyway, let me end it right here. It's getting a little long. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys very much. You guys are awesome. And if you're new here, hit the like, ring the bell, subscribe. Truly appreciate everything all you guys are doing. Y'all take care and just keep an eye out for my next video. So we'll catch you later. Aptera, you have a good one. Bye-bye.